This verse right here is one of the most important verses that you could ever memorize as a Christian. If you are a Christian, you are going to suffer. And oftentimes you are going to suffer unjustly. You're going to share in the sufferings of Christ, who was himself innocent and yet suffered as though he were a criminal deserving of death. We will not escape similar sufferings in our own life when it comes to suffering for things that we did not do or suffering for the sake of righteousness. And in that moment, we are all going to feel a pressure or a choice to do something with that suffering that will make that suffering worse. All of the worst things that have happened to us can be true, could be true. And yet we can make our situation worse for ourselves by how we handle it. We can respond to unjust suffering with revenge and retaliation and anger in a way that does not glorify or honor God, but that then raises the question, when we face unjust suffering, what do we do? What is the best thing we could do in situations like that? Practically, while the particular responses, the practical responses, may vary from circumstance to circumstance, the one thing that they all have in common is that when we are suffering according to the will of God, we first need to commit our souls to his goodness. We need to commit our souls to his love and care for us and reinforce and strengthen our confidence that even though we are experiencing the fires of suffering, that the Lord is present with us in the midst of that suffering and in the midst of that pain. If that's not something that we train ourselves to do, if that's not something that becomes a second nature reflex to us, we'll be tempted to respond in other ways that will only take the suffering God has for us to sanctify us or to grow us, and will turn it into something that is even more harmful to us than it may currently be at the moment. If you're suffering, put your confidence not in yourself, but in the good God who loves you and cares for you and is with you each and every step of your life until one day you are before him face to face.